Hey friends, happy Thursday, 9th of September. Today is the memorial of St. Peter. Lots of times we would say in America, Claver, but I think that the Spanish pronunciation would have been more like Peter, Pedro, Claver. So I'll give you a daily reflection, tell you a little bit about Pedro, San Pedro, and there are readings on the side. Click those, read the readings prayerfully, turn off the screen, spend some time with the Lord. San Pedro died on the 8th of September when we celebrated the birthday of the Blessed Virgin Mary yesterday, 1654. I reminded us a couple weeks ago on Rose of Lima. 1654 would have been in some of the early days of English colonization of what becomes the United States and Canada. And already, in the rest of the hemisphere, we have saints living and serving and dying. Just that great reminder for us as English-speaking Americans to be mindful of a larger image of the faith in our continent. So, St. Peter, he was born in Spain, became a Jesuit, and was then missioned to the New World, to what becomes Colombia. And he especially lived in the city of Cartagena, which would be the capital. And he was a servant, a slave to the African slaves. And for like 38 years, ministered to their needs. As soon as a slave ship would come into the port, he would go onto the boat and he would start, giving medicines and love and food and comfort and solace. He'd join them in the pens. He would baptize. He is estimated to have baptized somewhere in the ballpark of 30,000. Sorry, let me try that again. Let me move a zero. 300,000 people over the course of his ministry, baptizing in groups of 10, and then insisting on the rights of Christians and slaves as he, gave instructions to them and also to, Christian people who owned those human beings as slaves. St. Peter Claver is patron of Colombia and the New World, but also patron of African Americans. The largest grouping of African American Catholics is the Knights of St. Peter Claver, based out of the southern United States of America. So, St. Peter Claver, pray for us. Let me give you a reflection on these readings. I don't know if you've noticed on the bishop's website, if you use that, but when it says Luke chapter 6, if you click that, it'll take you to the text of Luke chapter 6. Yesterday we had special readings for the birthday of Mary, and so we missed the Beatitudes in Luke's Gospel. So if you want to, I certainly would encourage you, click on that link and then read the Beatitudes from Luke's Gospel that would have been used yesterday. I don't know that I have a great reflection just because this is what's called the Sermon on the Plain. And in Luke's Gospel, the hits just keep coming. Bam, bam, bam. I mean, Jesus is just smashing us over the head with truth. And if I were in charge of the lectionary, maybe I would have broken this up into a bit more bite-sized chunks. Probably, I think the best way that I can be of service here is to just ask what resonates with you as you read this through, and then spend a moment in quiet prayer. For me, it's the end. The measure with which you measure will be measured back to you. A good measure, packed together, shaken down, and overflowing will be poured into your lap. So God is never outdone in generosity, but God is going to replicate our own measure of generosity. And I don't know about you, but one of the ways that I am cutting corners in the midst of a pandemic is with that theology of scarcity, that worldview that there's not enough, and I can't be generous. And there's important self-care stuff there too, but to spend some time in the generosity of God and asking the ways that I can be generous. That's how I am praying with this today. But there's other great stuff about forgiveness and love and transformation and mercy. So see what strikes you. And the first reading, Paul to the Colossians, also good. Just read it and see what sticks with you. This is Paul at the end of the letter exhorting the church in Colossae to the Christian life, right? Be kind, be thoughtful, put the love of Jesus Christ on over everything. I think that if we just read it, slowly, prayerfully, especially between the gospel and this first reading, something is going to stick. Just spend a little bit of time in that conversation with the Lord. All right. Happy Thursday. I hope I hope that this video reflection is useful, different. Read the readings, shocking, different than how I normally roll. So I look forward to being with you tomorrow on Friday. May your prayer be fruitful. St. Peter Claver, pray for us. Read those readings prayerfully. Turn off the screens. Pray with the Lord. Pray for each other. Be mindful of praying for folks that are oppressed, folks that are suffering, folks that are struggling. Let's hold them in prayer today. God bless.